I now call the East Lyme Zoning Commission regular meeting of June 2nd, 2022 to order. It is 7:30. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Myself, Terrence is here. Mr. Dwyer.
Yep.
Terry Granitek is not here. Debbie Chet Harris is not here. Mr. Peck.
Here.
Ms. Thurlow is here.
Here.
Jay Ginsberg.
Here.
Denise Markovitz.
Here.
Dave Schmidt.
Here.
Please note for the record that Mr. Schmidt is sitting for Debbie Jett and Mr. Ginsberg is sitting for Terry. Staff, Mr. Mulholland cannot join us tonight. Sue is here. Thank you, Sue. And Ms. Hardy is not here. Arts officiate. Public delegations. Public delegations is a time when members of the public are invited to speak to the commission on subject matters that are not on the agenda. Do we have anybody? Nope. Moving on. Public hearing. The application of the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center Incorporated for a special permit under section 20.1.2, section D of the East Lyme zoning regulations for a private non-profit school at 5 Liberty Way. East Lyme Assessor's Map 09.4, Lot 8. Note that the legal ad has been run, and I believe the applicant is here to make a presentation. Please do. Right up at the podium for me, please. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And just state your names, please.
Sure, my name is Cassidy Brown. I'm the Executive Director of the Lighthouse. Hi, I'm Jeremy Ostrad. I'm the Operations Manager. So, good evening, and thank you to the Commission members. Should we go ahead and proceed?
Please do.
Okay. Well, thank you guys all for your time tonight. We're here to present on behalf of the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center for a special permit application to relocate our state-approved private schools for individuals with disabilities at the property located at 15 Liberty Way. The 24,000 square foot building is currently underutilized as an office building, is located in your light industrial office zone. With close proximity to the highway, the zone is arguably your most flexible zone, allowing for a broad array of uses from offices to light manufacturing. Clearly, our proposed use is considered less intensive, and we believe will be fit in well with the adjacent residential and commercial districts. The Lighthouse currently operates 2 state-approved private schools right here in downtown Niantic on Main Street and Pennsylvania Avenue, and our plan is to consolidate some of the programming into the new building. For us, the location is perfect, whereas we're close enough to still access many of the local amenities and work with our community partners, but far enough away to accommodate a larger population. We believe our operations will not be more objectionable to nearby properties by reason of noise, fumes, vibration, or lights, or any other permitted uses.
Tip. You're good to go? I will have our secretary read the memo from Mr. Mulholland, please.
This one. This one. Okay. From William Mulholland regarding special permit application 15 Liberty Way Lighthouse Vocation Ed Center Incorporated. The applicant, the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center Incorporated, is applying for a special permit to operate a private nonprofit special education school at the property referenced above. The applicant currently operates 2 sites in downtown Niantic and will be moving both to the 15 Liberty Way location. The property is located in the light industrial zone. The application is submitted under section 20.1.2D of the East Lyme zoning regulations, private nonprofit schools. The applicant is proposing to increase the number of students it provides services for from 30 at their 2 current locations to 40 with this newer enlarged space. The existing structure provides for individual classrooms, a kitchen for lunches, large meeting areas, space for the administration, as well as an open second floor plan. There are designated spaces for therapeutic and related services, physical and occupational therapists. The existing site was developed many years ago and is compliant with the current site plan standards. The structure has primarily been an office building over the years. Parking was based on the design standards in our code and is adequate for proposed use. An outdoor learning and recreational area is proposed and delineated on a map submitted with the application. The outdoor area will be limited to the outlined area and requires the use of 5 parking spaces, which are in the northwest corner of the parking lot. Otherwise, the site will remain as is. Minimal renovations to the building are proposed to ensure student safety and compliance with building and fire codes, which will be handled by the building official and the fire marshal. Hours of operation proposed are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. A review of the proposal and the applicable regulations finds that the application, in my view, is compliant with said zoning regulations. I also note this relocation will open up 2 existing storefronts in Niantic Village for new business opportunities and will allow the applicant to enhance the educational environment for their students.
Thank you, Ms. Thurlow. Now, as indicated, it says you're going to be taking up 5 spaces, parking spaces.
Correct.
Is that going to be enclosed in fences or anything like that? Are you going to be tearing up the pavement or just?
So the exact plans of the recreational area haven't been determined yet, but we do anticipate probably putting in a small fence, which we'll seek we'll seek a permit for.
And you're basically doing very little renovations to the property as it is, correct?
Yeah,
And
we're fortunate that the space is conducive for our needs as is now, and we plan on doing minor renovations.
Right. For those of you who do not know, this is the Smith Insurance, originally Smith Insurance property on there.
Yep.
So I mean, it is all divided up very well, and
That's a big parking lot there,
it is
very big.
very big. Yep. And you have plans of expanding, I read, as well, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, so we do have a growing population, so we want to accommodate new students. And this gives us the ability to. Right now, we don't have that ability given the constraints of our current spaces that we lease.
And you're going to be the sole use of this building?
Correct.
Very good.
Well, just point of clarification, there are existing, so we haven't even finalized a purchase and sale agreement. This is part of the contingency that we seek special permit, obviously. So we haven't worked out some of the pre-existing lease arrangements that are there now. So I wouldn't want to say for the record that there aren't going to be any other leases there because we haven't worked that detail out yet. But our intent and our hope is that this is going to be 100% occupied by the Lighthouse.
Understood. Thank you.
How do your students get to your location? Are there going to be buses dropping them off, and do you have plans to not clog up the entryway?
Yeah, good point. So we provide we're the primary provider for the transportation for our students, and so you've probably seen some of our white minivans around with our logo on the side, and that's the majority of our students are transported by us. There are some other districts that want to prefer to do their own transportation, but that's very few and far between. We don't anticipate any additional congestion on the road necessarily. There's enough points of entry and egress on the property where traffic could move in and out freely. There's also a lot of area that's already built into the parking lot so that the queuing, so you say, would be able to fit around. It's a smaller volume, so we don't anticipate any negative impact to the main road there.
Any other questions?
No, go ahead.
Well, I'll wait till, after the presentation is over.
Mr. O?
Oh, no.
When you get into your regular meeting, I have one complaint or observation.
Sure.
No, I was just saying, I read through all of your proposal, and it seems like you're compliant with all the different departments. And I suppose the fire marshal, there's room for a truck to turn around if need be and all of that.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we did have sort of preliminary conversations with the fire marshal, a building official, to kind of check on it, because we
Yeah.
wouldn't want to get into the position where we aren't able to accommodate it for our intended uses. We don't have anything, a written report or anything yet, but we do, we will definitely engage them in the process.
I also read in there that being a school, you'd have to be like inspected more often. Is that true?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a pretty thorough approval process for state-approved private schools, and every year we have to be inspected by Ledge Light and the fire marshal.
Understood. Thank you. At this time, any comments from the public? either for or against said application?
And just real quick, if I may.
You may.
Another point of clarification is that we are not 100% sure about the phasing in of when we're going to be vacating the two properties, so I didn't want to commit to, yes, we're going to be going out, although it's a different part of the application, but I know Bill did mention it, so I just didn't want you guys to think we're automatically gone. We have different lease arrangements that we have to work through, and so when those things happen, we're not sure. We do have plans that right when we close, we'll be able to move one of our properties located at Pennsylvania Avenue, but the other one is still kind of up in the air and how we work those things out.
So it's just a process that you're going through more or less to.
And it depends on what the lease arrangements are going to be for the building that we're going to be taking over. Because as I'm sure you guys are aware, every time you take over a commercial building, a lot of times you are now taking over those leases. And so it depends on what they're able to negotiate with their current lease holders or tenants. And that would determine whether or not and how we can move the Main Street property there.
Very good.
So I didn't want to put it out there thinking that we're going to disappear tomorrow and then not, and then you guys, want to make sure that was clear. But
Understood. Anything else you want to add?
no, just I guess thank you guys for your time in reviewing the application, and I'd be happy to answer any additional questions or whatnot. But yeah,
I might as well.
sure.
The fence on the side of the building there, right where your entrance is, you're short one length of fence. You come along, you park, you come along the driveway, and it's open. I'm talking about kids now, right?
Yeah.
It's open to the drive-in. You've got to add that one fence. You go up 5 poles. You got to get to the 6th pole where you'll be even with the walkway.
Okay, so you mean on the front entrance, the blue?
As you drive in,
Yep.
on the left, there's
Okay.
an entrance there.
Okay.
And you have a gate or a fence.
A railing. Yeah.
And it
Okay.
goes down to 5 poles.
Yeah.
You got to get to the 6th pole because you're coming the other way, walking to make that right-hand turn, and it's open.
Gotcha.
Open to the drive. It's a drop about 2 feet, and it's open to the drive-in where you're driving in. You've got to continue that fence.
Okay. So I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe you
I
do.
hope so.
Yeah. No, I just.
Yeah, is it the handrail you're talking about on the ramp leading into the entrance?
It's a black
Yep.
metal fence.
Yep.
You're short one length.
The handrail with the grab bar.
So
Very
I'm
short.
sure it will be addressed if you do choose to take,
So
not ownership, but
yeah. Well, so I do. I'm sorry to
Excuse me.
interrupt.
What did you say? You sure it will be addressed?
I'm sure they will address it
Well,
when they take over.
as long
Yes.
as they're aware of it.
Yes, correct, correct.
Yeah, so I will say that your building official is very thorough, as is your fire marshal. And so there's another property that we have where all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So whatever safety mechanisms are required by the building official or fire marshal will be happy to attend to.
I'm not interested in the fire marshal. I'm interested in the zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Any other questions for them?
None.
Being said, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Thurlow. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Back on. And moving on to the regular meeting. Application of the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center Incorporated for a special permit under section 20.1.2, section D of the East Lyme zoning and regulations for a private non-profit school at 5 Liberty Way. I should say 15 Liberty Way, pardon me. East Lyme Assessor's Map 09.4, Lot 8. Open up for discussion.
Now I can discuss my fence.
Now you can discuss your fence. Yeah.
I still think the applicant should add that one section of the fence. As you're coming down the pathway to enter it, you go right into the parking lot coming in. No, it's back on the entrance.
I understand what you're
Coming
saying,
in.
and I'm sure, being a school, they're gonna have to address all this, because I believe they do get inspected from the,
Fine, let them inspect all they
Education.
want. I want them in the zoning that I object to the way that fence is now. I'd like to see one additional portion of that fence.
So you'd like to see him to add the fence?
Yes. It's not a big deal, but I think it's a safety deal.
Understood.
Come up here.
It's basically for safety, right? Mr. Peck, any comments?
I'm all set. I know
Where's
that
the fence here?
this is probably going to be
Yeah.
considered a change of use, and which will kick in the building inspector, making sure things
You
are up to
gotta add-
code. I'm not sure what Mr.
There's a
Dwight's
driveway
talking
coming
about,
in.
but I think the
Right
building
here.
inspector
Right
might
here,
address
he's
that.
gotta add portion to line up with this.
I think what Mr. Dwyer was talking about, how there's a,
You said right.
like a piece of fence needs to be extended
Right.
to
One
where
to
the
next
traffic
column.
comes in,
That-
right, to the
goes
next column.
sixth column.
Sure. And I'm pretty sure that would be addressed. Right. Thank you, Norm. Mr. Ginsburg?
One other safety issue, looking at the diagram of the property, there's a blue line at the edge of the property that looks like some sort of brook. And I want to be sure that we go on record as saying we want to be sure it's safe, that if a child crosses the parking lot and that there's some sort of blockage so they can't get to that brook.
I do believe, from witnessing, the school around town there, that most of the students are of special needs, and, behavioral issues, to where they're always accompanied by an adult or a teacher. And, in their set application, they are going to have an outside play area or recreational area, if they choose to go here, in this area here, which I believe is just where the students would be allowed to go outside with accompaniment.
I just know the students move pretty quickly, and my daughter's a special ed teacher, and she's chased some of her students down the hallways of a school, and it's hard to catch them sometimes. So I just want to be sure that it's safe for your use.
I gotcha. Yeah. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, that's my only comment.
Thank you, Mr. Ginsburg. Ms. Thurlow?
Yeah, I think the narrative is very complete, and with all the inspections from all these different entities, I feel confident it will be fine.
I agree. Mr. Dwyer, are you through? Or do you want to add anything?
No, that's it. I'm content now with my little fence.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
No issues.
Myself as well, I believe, I agree with Ann here, and, your homework was done quite well. And in terms of, all the inspections that are going to be required if you choose to go here, to where all these issues will be addressed, I'm sure. So, myself, I don't have an issue with this application. So, if we're all done with comments, I will take a motion to
Oh,
approve.
yeah, one more. I think it's a great spot, by the way, and much better than what is going on today. And the parking area, the men's parking area, the traffic is great there for what you want. I couldn't pick a better spot. Very good, very good.
Go to the gym right there.
It is a great
Mr.
spot. So, I will take
Chairman,
a
I'd like
motion to
to,
approve or deny.
I would like to make a motion to approve the application of the Lighthouse Voc Ed Center Incorporated for a special permit under Section 10.1.2D of the East Lyme zoning regulations for a private nonprofit school at 15 Liberty Way, East Lyme Assessors Map 09.4 Lot 8.
Do I have a second?
Second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dwyer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, the application of Keith Nielsen, P.E. of Daco Incorporated for Cardamus Construction LLC for a coastal area management review at 61 Old Black Point Road, East Lyme, to relocate crushed stone, confine with wood timbers, and face bluestone to form a walkway and patio. At the request of the applicant, this is going to be continued to June 16th. Item number 3, the application of the Town of East Lyme for a coastal area management review at 8 Oswegatchie Hills Road, East Lyme, for installation of a 12-foot storm drainage pipe and catch basin where an existing swale has eroded. Again, as per the applicant, requested a continuation to June 16th.
Could I ask something about that?
You may, I guess.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The address on the application is different than the address on the agenda.
It's simple error. I can, people do make mistakes.
Yeah,
so-
I just wanted to make sure
Yep.
that we correct that before it comes to the actual meeting.
What are you talking about?
See, it's 85.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure, yeah. It's just a simple oversight, but
Yeah.
point taken. Thank you. Moving on to approval of the minutes of May 5th, 2022. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
You must have missed my chance.
I think we may have an issue here.
Well, I was sitting out there. Can I still do that?
No, you weren't here.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta go.
Absent.
Yeah.
Absent. You were here.
I was there, and also at the bottom of the minutes where it says liaison to planning on June 16th, that should say Debbie Jet Harris.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you guys swapped
Yeah.
during the meeting, and she was unaware of that. So again, that's just a simple little swappage issue there. So with that being said, I believe you're going to have to vote on this to help us get it approved. So all those in favor of approving the minutes of May 5th, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against? Those abstaining?
All right.
3 of you. 2, 3. 0. You voted? Denise, thank you. Motion carries. Can she vote, Norm? Because she was here? She should be able to vote, right?
As long as she's here.
Seated.
Yeah.
She was seated.
She was seated at the meeting,
Yeah.
so, but she's not seated now.
I mean, honestly, technically, people should be able to vote even if they,
Agree.
I guys don't do it.
Well, as it sits right now, because that is something that I'm unclear on, we'll call it as passed.
Okay.
Go from there, because she did sit during that meeting.
Right. So you're not gonna see her just for that vote? Just
No.
like, okay.
If it's an issue, I will find out and I will correct it,
Okay.
going from there.
I don't know if you guys remember, but you also tabled the April minutes last month
Yes,
to this month.
we
April
did.
26th meeting.
The
You are
April
correct.
21st meeting, we did not approve the minutes yet.
Thank you. Was everybody here? So let's then move on to that. I would assume we move to approve the meeting minutes from April 21st, 2022. Was everybody here for that one?
I was not seated.
I was.
I'm sorry?
I was not seated.
You were not, but you were here.
I was out there, yeah.
Mr. Dwyer, were you here? I'm sorry, I missed that in my notes here.
I missed one, I don't know which one I'm
You missed Cinco de Mayo, May 5th.
okay.
Okay. That being said, all those in favor of approving the minutes for April 21st, 2022?
You need a motion, I think.
Thank you.
I'll move to accept the minutes of April 26th,
Second
2022.
Thank you, Mr. Peck, seconded by Mr. Dwyer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Sue. It wasn't on my cheat sheet. Sorry.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, moving on. Old business, we don't have any. New business. The application of Nicole Nadeau for a special permit for a dance studio / indoor recreation at 11 Freedom Way Unit D2, Niantic, Connecticut. We'll ask staff to schedule that. New business number 2, application of 138 BPR LLC for a special permit under section 8.2.8 elderly housing, CA, for a 3 apartment units of elderly housing, 55 plus, 17 units with 3 covered detached garage buildings and associated improvements at property located at 38 Boston Post Road, East Lyme Assessor's Map 31.1, Lot 7. And I will ask staff to schedule that. Moving on, any business on the floor, if any, by the majority of the vote of the commission? Anyone?
No?
Good. Being said, zoning official, Mr. Mulholland cannot be with us.
Yeah, I might say, I hate to see that old white house come down. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dwyer.
In behalf of Mr. Mulholland, he would probably mention that the Board of Selectmen passed the ordinance in regards to substantial improvement, the FEMA issue.
Correct.
Basically wiped it off the ordinance list of ordinances, and which allows the zoning to have complete control over that.
Which we discussed months ago.
We've been talking
We
about it
changed
for a
it.
couple of years.
Yeah.
So we are done with that.
Good.
The ordinances are now consistent with the zoning regs.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Peck. Comments from ex officio. Roseanne is not here. Comments from the zoning board liaison to planning commission, which for May 10th was Debbie Jett Harris, who was not with us tonight. Next up is Ms. Markovitz on June 14th.
No.
You know.
Debbie Jett's gonna do June 14th. I did not go to the planning, meeting because I had heard that it was postponed.
It only lasted like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, good.
I mean,
I feel so bad.
It confused me when you guys swapped it all out like that. So that's okay.
I'm out of town.
That's all right. All right. Comments from the chairman. Myself, as you know, because we just from the approval of the minutes for Cinco de Mayo, most of us know as a zoning commission member that our meetings are on the first and third Thursdays of the month. You know, whether it's a small agenda or a large agenda, it is best that we let staff know or myself know in a timely fashion so that we won't have to struggle for a quorum if need be. Because last month we were a little bit worried up until the last minute if we were going to have enough for a meeting. We ended up having it. I understand it was, a quote-unquote holiday, but even still, if we can let somebody know, whether it be a friend on the commission who can contact land use department or myself, we can go on from there without having to worry about who is going to make it, who is not making it.
I'll add to that. It's absolutely imperative that we have a quorum every time. They're hiring engineers, attorneys at $200, $300, $400 an hour, planning on getting things done, and if we don't have a quorum, we should be sued.
Could be sued.
But delaying, causing them financial hardship.
Yeah. So that is why, tonight myself, I was waiting to see if Terry was coming, and informed me of an email that he sent out earlier tonight. He did let us know, but to do that in such a short fashion is it helps, but if I didn't have any other alternates here, it would have been tough making a quorum. On that, excuse me, on a little housekeeping issue on the minutes from February 17th. That is the night when we had the Town of East Lyme Public Library for special use for the Historic Museum, right? Mr. Peck recused himself and Mr. Schmidt was seated during the public hearing. Then we went on to item number 3, and it should have stated that Mr. Schmidt remained seated for Mr. Peck, because it caused a little bit confusing to me and the department in terms of what happened. You do have it listed at the end that Mr. Peck was reseated,
I thought he was.
but, no, he was, but in the beginning, in the public hearing, which was item number 2, it states that Mr. Peck recused himself and you sat.
Correct.
And granted, we moved right into the regular meeting. I just kept you seated, and
Oh,
just as a housekeeping issue, nothing major.
Yeah.
It just should have stated, I believe, that Mr. Schmidt remained seated for Mr. Peck. You know, because if we had like 2 public hearings on that, you know, you probably would have been back in the audience. Mr. Peck would have reseated, and you would have came up. But because that was our only item on the agenda that night, you remained seated. And I just
Yeah,
feel that it
that-
should be indicated in our minutes. And I just, if that ever promotes itself again, I would just make note that if you could just please indicate that, that would be marvelous. Moving on from there, I have no other comments, except that Mother Nature is really cranky. With that being said, I will take a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Do I have a second? Mr. Dwyer, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I told my